podcast with evidence. And as always, I'm your host, Jenny Gorlick, and I'm here with my incredible producer,
Andrew McGuire. I am here as well. I'm the incredible producer mentioned. Yes.
I love it. Wow, Andrew, I just need to say before we even ask each other how we're doing that I got bangs this week.
I noticed.
It's a bangs week.
I think I know what Camila Cabello looks like. Is that what Camila Cabello looks like a little bit? Like with
this?
Yeah.
With these bangs?
A little bit, right?
Maybe a little bit, but I do also kind of hate that was the first thought.
Wait, why?
Camila, she's problematic.
Oh, is she I don't even know her.
She said some rude stuff about Normani, and no one should ever be rude to Normani.
Oh, okay, can you separate the hair from the problematic girl?
I don't know if I can separate the hair from the person. It's like Hitler and his mustache.
Okay, that's fair.
I just don't think I can.
Right.
Not to say Camila Cabello is Hitler, but she hasn't been the best.
Except she will be.
No, I hope not. But she also has a really interesting relationship with her dad. And that song that's like, no man loved me more. You loved me first, about her dad.
Sure.
Freaks me out.
So who would you rather be compared to?
With these bangs?
With these bangs.
So they're not, I explicitly did not want the Zooey Deschanel. So not Zoe, because I didn't want the front. These are curtain bang, which they're in right now. All the magazines say that everyone looks nice with a curtain bang.
You think that I would look good with a curtain bang?
I do think you'd look good with a curtain bang.
Okay.
I think I would love it. So definitely not a Zoe, but maybe a Dakota Johnson.
Oh, okay. Yes. And she is at the forefront of the anti-Ellen. I mean, she's not actively doing anything, but
she is. But she did invite Ellen to her birthday party.
She did. And then she did. Ellen would rather hang out with George Bush, I guess, instead.
I cannot speak for Ellen or any of her decisions.
Well, she apologized, and it was I don't know.
She did, but she apologized, but she also was making jokes about it that were kind of like, I don't know.
In the most Ellen fashion, I feel, it's expected. We're not going to get a sit down where she's like, I'm going to address each and every single one of these. So
right, but she was like, I'm going to give my staff gum, and we're like, okay, Ellen, actually, I'm worried about your staff.
Yeah.
Oops. Okay, but anyway, big week, bangs week. I think I am spiraling. Blah, 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 blah. Exactly. Spiraling.
Yeah.
I'm spiraling.
Oh, no. That's not good.
A little bit.
Is it due to what? Do you want to get into it?
Overworked, worried about the country. I've been phone banking a lot, so I don't have any physical receipts, but
sure.
I've had a lot of wild conversations with people in Arizona who sometimes surprise me and often disappoint me.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been hard. I talked to this one woman who, I say, hi, I'm Jenny. I'm a volunteer with Joe Biden and Mark Kelly. And she's like, oh, great. Like, how are you doing? And I'm like, oh, I'm great. How are you doing? Fine. Very nice. Polite so far. And then I'm like, well, I'm just calling to see if you'll be supporting Joe Biden in the upcoming election. And she goes, oh, no. And I'm like, oh, okay. Is there anything, do you have any questions about any of his stances on any of the issues? Or is there anything I can say that might change your mind? Yeah. And she's like, well, no, because I'm for life. I'm pro-life. And I was like, oh, right. Okay, well.
So she's not even willing to have the conversation at all.
No, but I mean, no, but also, I don't know if you've ever spoken on the phone with someone who doesn't want you to be able to have an abortion or use Plan B. And I'm just like, girl, I can't even call this woman girl. This woman.
Yes.
Hello? Thank God for Plan B. Thank God. So anyway, I'm being polite because the point is if you're not going to be able to change your mind, you just move on.
Sure.
You should never spend more than 5 minutes on a person. So she says she's for life, which is like me too. I'm also for life, but
Right.
I'm for not paying for unwanted pregnancies.
Right.
I'm for living the life that you can afford and are comfortable with and is safe and healthy for you. Okay, but anyway, so I say, okay, well, I hope you have a great night. And she's like, you too, and God bless America. So I was like, God bless America. And
Did you
then
say it
she
back?
laughed.
Okay.
I did say it back. I said, God bless America.
God bless America. Say it back. Yeah.
God bless America. God bless America. And then she laughed and we hung up. And
Oh
it's
my
like,
God.
I'm still thinking about her. Rosemary.
I feel like
Arizona.
that was like pretty tame. I was expecting something a little bit more fired up.
Well, actually, I think what's most harrowing is the people who are nice to you who are voting for Trump.
Yes.
Like there was a very polite man who I called. It was supposed to be a 80-something-year-old woman who I was trying to reach. And this man picked up. I asked if she was available. He said, no, that's actually my mom. She just passed away. And I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. And then I'm like, well, since I have you on the phone, are you registered to vote in the state of Arizona? And he's like, yes, I am. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm calling on behalf of Joe Biden and Mark Kelly. And he's like, oh, well, I'm going to stop you there. My mom is a Democrat. My mom was a Democrat and I'm a Republican. And I was like, oh, okay. Can I like anything I can say?
Are you sure your mom's
classic?
Yeah.
Are you sure? Like, where's your mom? Are you sure? She's like, can she come back from the dead, please? We need her. We need her.
Now, yes.
We need her right now. But he's like, no, I'm like pretty set. I'm going to vote for Trump. And he was so kind and polite to me, like very sweet man. And like that that's worse. That sits with me more than the people who I say, oh, I'm calling with Joe Biden, and they hang up on me immediately, or they're like, I'm voting for Trump. And I'm like, okay, great. Namaste. Right. Like, peace be with you. Goodbye. Like, we don't have to have this conversation. Yeah. But the people who are like really kind and it seems like are polite enough to a stranger and care enough about a stranger who called them on the phone to be nice to them. I'm like, where is this disconnect?
Yes.
Yeah. Where it's like the ideology is like so.
Yeah. That is crazy.
It is crazy. And
Which how many people have like you actually like spoken to on the phone, would you say?
I've been doing it for like twice a week for months. Yeah. So I think 100 something. I mean, most people don't pick up.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I think 100 something at this point. I know. Isn't that wild? And like, I really don't mind when people are mean to me because that's what I expect.
Yeah.
But when they're really kind and I'm like, this person sounds like my dad. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah, that is
like, creepy. What do I do? It's so creepy.
That is an insane receipt to have.
And that's my insane receipt. Actually, the most insane one is that I talked to this woman who we talked for like 15 minutes, which you're not supposed to do. But she was like, she answered the phone. She's like, I'm voting for Trump because Joe Biden's going to bring us to socialism. And what about my guns? Yeah. And I actually think she's going to consider voting for Biden.
Wow.
If you can believe it. We just had a nice conversation. We had a nice conversation where she was like, well, do you think Biden is going to be able to do 4 years of the presidency? And I was like, well, I have to hope he will. And in any case, I know that he's going to hire capable people, competent, capable people who are going to be able to do the job. Exactly. And we know with Trump that hasn't been the case. He hires his friends and family, and the turnover in that office has been unreal. Like, as someone who loves office drama, I think it's hilarious to me, but also it's very disconcerting because they are running our country. Right. But this woman was like, well, hopefully if Joe's hiring some smart people in the office, it'll be the two of us. And I was like, okay.
Oh, wow.
Okay. She was like, we could be in the cabinet. And I was like, all right, lady.
Oh my God. Did you get her Instagram?
No. I can't. I mean, I know her. I know what her Instagram is. It's her and her gun.
No,
And I was like,
are you kidding?
well, yeah, she was like, what about my gun? Well, I haven't seen her Instagram, but she was like, what about my guns? It was one of the first things we talked about. And I was like,
Yeah.
Joe Biden does not want to take your guns away. He just wants to put some rules in place and restrictions to make sure that people who are not going to safely use guns don't have access to guns, because we have lots of problems in this country with gun violence.
Right.
And I was like, I know you're not going to go out and shoot anyone, but we don't know that a lot of people in this country won't.
Right. Wow.
You got to tell these people, I'm with you, which I am. I'm totally with her if she does change her mind and wants to vote for Joe.
I think you made an impact on her.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Can you imagine me in the cabinet?
Well, that's what she's rooting for.
That's really what she wants.
She would rather you in the cabinet than anybody that's even up for it. Wow.
Wow.
Insane.
I know. So that's my week. I just have been really, I don't know, traumatized. I'm like,
I feel like honestly, like, don't take this the wrong way, but honestly, like, I feel like I expect you to be traumatized every single week with the amount of things that you have going on. You know, the fact that you actually are responding to the things that seem like traumatic, the amount of things that you put on your plate is like, okay, like, finally, like, she's human, you know?
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't worry, I am sad a lot. So.
Oh, okay. Well, you have a great way of hiding
that. Yeah. Oh, good. I love to be a part of that toxic social media culture.
Wow.
Don't worry, everyone who's listening to Receipts, I hurt too. I'm hurting.
Wow.
Wow. Okay, that was it. I've been speaking for way too long, Andrew. What is up? What's going on with you?
I do have a receipt.
Yes. Okay.
I do. I had another podcast recording earlier today with someone.
Okay, brag. Fine.
Sorry, cheating.
Okay.
Literally. Okay, so I don't want to like say anything about it, about like what show or who it is. But what I will say is the new show, I was like aware of like who was on the show and everything. And I was under the impression that one of the hosts of the show was someone else that I was familiar with from a YouTube series. And like, I was just like, well, that's the person, you know, and I haven't watched this YouTube series in years, but I was just like, wow, that's really cool. Like, I recognize this person from that. And so then I get into the Zoom call and this person is like, hi, nice to meet you, Andrew. And I say, hi, whoever, I loved you on this thing in front of everyone. And they were like, and they were like, oh yeah, that's not me. And like was being, and I was like, oh my God.
Oh,
and
no.
I played it off like fine, I feel. And I was like, in the past, I've been like very embarrassed when things like that happen, but I feel like I played it off pretty well. And I was just like,
I'm sure you did.
And I was like, oh my God, I'm trying to be like shady, whatever, play it off. And so like, obviously like I was just thinking about it for the next hour. And
of course.
Like, oh my God. Like I literally could have just done like the basic preliminary research and saw that this was not the person. But I got an email later from this person saying, nice to meet you today, Andrew. Also, just wanted to say sorry if I seemed like such a bitch earlier. I realized I sounded real mad when I was not at all, LMAO. And I was like, literally, best case scenario. Because I'm like,
yeah.
The person that I thought they were has a considerably like amount, like less followers. The person I was talking to has their own Wikipedia page, and the other person doesn't. And I was just like, for me to compare this person
Andrew
was like the worst thing to do. But like in my mind, because I've seen both of these people before, they just were the same person and they were just doing both things, you know? So
I hear that. There are a lot of people who are just on YouTube or Instagram who to me are interchangeable. And it's like, you could be this one or you could be that one.
Sure. Yes.
Sure. And I love that this person was also thinking about you for the hour after the recording. You both were just sitting at home thinking about each other.
Yeah.
How nice is that?
Yeah, I was very pleased to get that email. I have not responded yet, but
you got to let them know who's in charge.
Right, exactly. So I feel like a very good case scenario for sure.
Yeah, amazing. The best thing that could have possibly happened. I love. Well, I'm very excited our guest is someone who I love very much. She's so funny. She is in LA right now, and that is the joy of the internet that we can have her. She hosts her own podcast that's so funny with her mom called Got It From My Mama. Everyone, it's Tori Piskin.
Hi.
Hey.
I came with like the most annoying hi, like hi. Like,
I think it's a perfect hi.
Like I've been watching like so many like TikTok videos where you know what it is? I'm thinking of that video on TikTok where everyone's like, hey, how y'all doing? I've watched every rendition of that video that like every time I just go into a meeting, I'm like, hey, I'm like, no, stop, hold back. Like this is not, I need to stop.
I love it. That's a classic TikTok. That's a really good one.
Well, they're all just like coming into my mind. Does that happen to you? I'll just like start singing it, and I was like, oh my God, like this is propaganda. This is not good.
Well, I feel like I've been like coming into like Zoom calls, like I'll just be like wave. I'll still like I'll be on mute and just be like do a silent hello. Avoid exactly that, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's
true.
Yes.
I feel like TikTok is in my brain all the time, and I'm in weird TikTok right now. I'm in Harry Potter fanfic TikTok. I don't know how I got here. I don't know how I got there, but it's women making like little videos where they're the love interest for Draco or for I saw one for Hagrid, and I was like, yeah, that's fun. I support that for you. Or Cedric, and they just like intercut these like little videos from the movie. That's where I live right now. I don't understand how I got there.
No, yes, you must know how you got there though.
No, how did I get there?
No, like come on.
I'm
like,
lost. I don't know what turn I took that got me into this weird dark corner of TikTok.
The Explore page knows you better than you know yourself. That's my
I have like 2 rabbit holes I go down on TikTok. One was this girl who she's like a really cool, just like fashion girl. She's not like basic where it's like butterfly, like she's very like rocker and like edgy, and she doesn't really like talk, and she's kind of like she knows she's awkward, but also like, yeah, I got a boob job and my lips done, but like I'll pretend I don't know what I'm doing. And so I follow her on TikTok and Instagram. So that's like one rabbit hole I go down. Then the other one is I go down rabbit holes of people that have cancer. I end up following them. I don't know. Then I like follow their whole story and I feel awful for them. I follow them on Instagram. I like DM them being like, I found you on TikTok. Like, I hope you're okay. Now I followed so many people that have cancer, like people my age, young people. Then the problem is they start to get, but this has been a problem of mine for like years. It was started on Instagram. Then they start to get better. Then I feel really like, but I don't really, like I care about them. But then like, when do I get to do the unfollow? But I can't, I feel awful.
Oh my God, you're only following them for the cancer?
No, like I started following them because of this cancer thing, and I would become like obsessed and like, I don't know. And then like slowly over the years, this is like I don't even know what you call this. It wasn't an obsession. My little thing I would do. And then I was like, but how do I unfollow them? Like, I don't know. Is that awful of me?
I mean, give it a few months at least. Like,
no, it was like, no, this is like a few years.
We're talking years.
Okay.
This is years. They've been in remission, recovery.
Yeah. Or just like kids and I don't know. It's a big problem I have. It's a weird rabbit hole.
I feel like once they have a baby and once it's like baby Instagram, I think you can go.
Wait.
Okay.
Do they still like post cancer content?
No, they'll be like 8 months in remission and
do you like that?
I don't know what it is about them that like I feel really bad. And I feel like when you're talking about like health, I feel like I don't even know what it is. I think I feel bad and I like want to know their story. Like I want to know what happens to them. I want to know if they get better.
Right. And then they do get better and you're happy for them.
Right. I know.
And now you're like, well, I'm here and now I'm here still.
Right. I'm still here. And I like slowly slip away. Because then I get too invested with these people. Then I start to think about like, am I gonna get cancer? It just becomes like too much.
But then you find new ones. You find new.
It's a rabbit hole. It's like, you know, I'm like the dirty John of like cancer survivors.
Wow, that is so fascinating.
Just follow one until you follow the next one.
Exactly. Not
oh
good.
My goodness. That's Wild. That's very
Yes.
wild. Okay, so what is going on for you, Tori, aside from this? What's up? How's dating?
Well, dating's good. I'm dating someone. I guess it's not like pretty serious. It's in the newer stages. It's been like 2 months. We've had the talk where we're both like, we're not seeing other people.
That's exciting.
Yeah. And we met on Bumble.
Okay.
And he's a redhead too.
Wow. That's
What?
powerful, Tori. That's just so powerful that you're two redheads.
I know. I've never like dated or like really like I've always like thought other redheads guys were hot. Well, my celebrity crush is Brian Greenberg. Do you guys know who he is?
No.
No, let me see.
Oh my God. He was in One Tree Hill. He was in Prime with Uma Thurman. He was in How to Make It in America. He's like he's a redhead, but not like orange, just more like auburn.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking up. Oh, he's cute. He's really
cute. Yes, he's very like, he's got like swag. Like, I mean, this Brian Greenberg's Jewish. The guy I'm seeing is not Jewish, but that's okay. Well, look, he looks Jewish.
I recognize him too. He's one of those guys that's like a white guy.
Yeah, he's been in like everything.
He's been in everything.
Yeah. So yeah, we're like dating. We had the talk of like we're not seeing other people, and then we like went to this party situation where like he introduced me as like, this is Tori, and then afterwards he was like, I felt really weird, like I could have just introduced you as like my girlfriend, but I know you would have not cared, but like we haven't had that talk. And I'm like fine about it. I'm like, I just feel like when you get, because I've been in relationships and like obviously like this is a form of relationship, but it's like I'm like, well, we don't have to say boyfriend girlfriend, like why not look forward to something, like why do we have to rush everything? Do you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
You're like,
did you started dating men during pandemic?
Yeah, we met. Well, it was not funny, but kind of. I was like seeing someone else like very briefly, like went on like a few dates. And I just like, it didn't like feel right. But you know, when you like force yourself, because you like in your head, you're like, I think this is like a good person. And like, but there's just like something felt off. But like, I don't know, like there was like maybe like a lack of like chemistry, but you're like trying, you know what I mean? It's like, I was telling my friends, I was like, every time I was with him, it felt like I was like constipated. Like I was trying to like, like squeeze something out to be like, have like chemistry with him. Like I just like couldn't figure it out. You know what I mean? So
yes, I do. I've been in things like that too.
Yeah.
Where you're just like, this should be good on paper, but why is it?
Right. There's just like, and like I feel like we had good banter, but I think there was like just something like that chemistry, like that bottle chemistry you don't really like can explain. So anyway, my friends had met him. They both said they didn't like him. And then they're like, what about that other guy on Bumble? I was like, oh no, he lives like, I live in LA. He lives like in Newport, which is like an hour away. I was like, he lives in Newport. Like, what am I going to do? Like nothing. And like, just talk. I was like, no, like, what's the point? Like, you know what I mean? And then I was like, it's funny. I feel like when you like don't care, that's when things go well. So I just was like, we were texting, I think at that point or something. And I just was like, and then I just FaceTimed him because I was like, I need to see what this guy looks like. You know?
You need, and that's the best way to meet someone when there's a quarantine.
Exactly. So I just FaceTime him and I was like, oh, he's cute. I was like, okay, good. Actually, that's one thing I'll take. And I think people should do like pre or whenever pandemic will end. I don't think it will, but I think like you should always FaceTime a guy before or FaceTime whoever you're going to date with. Because it literally saves so much time. Like I've like FaceTime so many guys. I was like, oh my God, I would have wasted like a whole night with you because like you seemed and looked cooler like on your profile. And then we met and he's like, I'm a YouTuber / like entrepreneur / videographer for like Temple. I'm like, what are you talking about?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So how do you bring that up to the person? Like, hey, like let's FaceTime before. Like, how does that conversation go?
I mean, I always say, I'm trying to think. Usually it's like, it gets kind of long, the convo, and it's like either they don't make the move. I'll be like, hey, we should FaceTime sometime.
Yeah.
Or like, let's FaceTime.
Because I feel like if someone texted me that, like, even if I was already like planning to meet them in person, that almost seems like a red flag to me, no offense.
Really?
Because I'm like, we're just going to meet in person. Like, I don't know.
I like it though. I mean, not that I'm dating casually right now or have been during the pandemic, but I think there's something nice about like not having to put on pants, just wearing your sweatpants, meet the person, know if they're worth like the trouble of going to a date with.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know, because then I feel like you're already like in this situation where like I already see it happening. Like they're gonna be like, oh, like you're at home, like you're already like in the privacy of your own home. Like let's like be dirty or something, and it's like, no, I don't want to do that.
Okay.
Right?
I think it's just like definitely easier now to do it, or maybe like a few months ago when things weren't open.
Yeah.
Because like that was much more like clearly some people were like not seeing each other. So I think that made more sense. Like now I can understand. But also it's interesting. A lot of my friends in LA like always FaceTime people. So I don't know if it's like an LA thing. I like landed here.
Yeah.
And mixed between
because of
LA and
driving,
pandemic.
you have to drive if you want to get there, and there's never parking. I know that about LA. So it's a big it's a big struggle to go anywhere. You have to make a plan. You have to know you're going to be there. When I got stood up in LA, and that was the worst moment of my freaking life.
Like, go off. We want to hear.
This is, well, I've mentioned this on the pod before, but when I was in LA for a month, like I made plans for a second date with a guy that I had sex with on the first date. Okay. And on the first date, I found out that he had "Sorry Mom" tattooed on his ass.
Okay.
Just a little "Sorry Mom" right there on the butt cheek.
And you were like round two.
That was like second date.
Yeah.
I was like, buy me dinner now. So we made a plan to like go to dinner, and then he texted to cancel when I was there. And like I was already there. And the thing was, it was like I didn't have a car in LA, so it was an Uber that got me there. And like I'm far away from where I'm staying, and it's not like in LA people don't really make plans night of. I can't be like out somewhere or text my LA friends and be like, let's meet up and hang out right now. At least not in my experience. It's more like you have to decide you're going to do it the next day with some advance notice or whatever it is. So I just was like trapped in the Eat, Pray, Love restaurant. Just like sitting there, like crying at the bar. Like, well,
wait, did you cry?
Yes, of course I cried.
Yeah, I would cry.
Of course I cried.
That would make me feel
I felt like garbage. I felt so bad. I had sex with this man.
Yeah.
Like hopeless or like moment after. I think everyone has a moment after a date where you're like, am I ever going to meet someone? Like, you're like, that's it. I'm never going to meet someone. I went on a date in New York, maybe November. And it was kind of like, it was a setup. So I was already like excited. It was my mom's friend from the dog park, her grandson. Okay. So I was like,
oh my God, how cute.
The dog set us up. I'm like, this is a great story. He was like, I saw like one photo of him. I knew he was short, and I was like, that's okay. Like, height doesn't really matter to me. The photo looked cute. He looked like hip, like, and he was texting me, but it wasn't like that much. So, you know, it's always like, ooh, mystery, a little mystery. Definitely was like excited for the date. Okay. And so I get to the date and I see him. I'm like, oh, he's like small. Like, I could work with it if he had more of like charisma. He like made me feel like big.
Okay.
Like, and I should say, like, I'm like 5'2". I'm like pretty a small person. He made me feel like I felt like I was like 5'11" next to this guy. Okay. And also just like his presence wasn't very big. You know what I mean? Not that I like need that. I just think I wasn't necessarily like, ooh, like I want to make out with you, or you know what I mean? Right. I think when you go on I do know that. Yeah, when you go on like a blind date or an app date, you have it's the same words, but it's a different reaction. It's like either you think they're like not as cute as their photo and you're like, ooh, or you think they're cuter and you're like, ooh. You know, you're always like excited. Yeah. So I saw him and I was like, you know what my first thought was? All right, I can work with this. So
I'll make this work.
Yeah. I was like, I'll make this work with alcohol. So I drank. And by the way, I should mention I was on Accutane at the time, which is like, you shouldn't really drink on it. So and I'm not even a huge drinker to begin with. So I had this like mixed tequila drink. I had like maybe 25% of it. And then I kept telling him, I was like, please finish it. Like, I'm already like very drunk. And I had a show like right next door to the bar. Cause my plan was if it was going really well, I would invite him, but I'm not inviting him. So I wasn't really into him. I was like, like whatever. And then the bill comes. Okay. He looks at it and goes, all right, want to split it?
Love.
I should mention, I said to him, please finish my drink. He drank a drink and a half. He drank all of my drink. And I was like, what? So now I'm like so drunk. And then after the bar, he's like, can I kiss you? And I don't like in my mind, I don't even know what it was to be like, no, but I was like, okay. Then I let him kiss me and he's taking an Uber home. And I'm thinking, wait, you couldn't for my drink, but now you're taking an Uber? It wasn't even Uber or pool. And I just told him that like he texted me and I just told him, I was like, it felt better as friends. And my dad was like, you should tell him like, because my mom was like, well, just come up with a lie. Like she wanted me to come up with like an elaborate lie. Why I wouldn't see this guy again? I was like, you're lucky I didn't say like, oh, you're cheap, like. And then I had this show, a stand-up show, and I was just like so drunk, and I was literally saying my jokes backwards.
Oh no!
I'm just like punchline. I was like punchline, and then I said to the audience, I go, you know what? I'm drunk. I went on the worst date of my fucking life. This guy didn't pay. I'm never gonna. I literally like blacked out on stage. Like I don't really remember what I said, but my friend was there, and she's like, "That was your best performance."
Best set ever. You're like Mrs. Maisel. When
kind
she
of, yeah.
Her first set.
That's kind of what it was.
Upset and wasted about her husband. Yeah.
It was not
good. So silly. No, it's not good. I think it's really important on the first date. I'm into antiquated gender rules for first dates. Not for everything, but for first dates I am.
I mean,
pay for my drink.
I definitely think I'm old school in that sense. And I think like when a guy, there's nothing hotter to me than when I'm on a date with a guy and he's like, and I'm like, do you need help? Or like, do you want to split it? And he laughs. He's like, no, I got this. Like to me, there's like nothing like, I don't really know what it is, but it's just like something I find like, I like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
No question. Have you ever met girls? Because all of my friends feel the same way. But have you ever met, because guys I think that no, girls, like some girls do want to pay, but Jenny or Andrew, have you ever met any girls that are like, no, I love paying on a first date?
Never in my life. I feel uncomfortable paying for everything. Not paying for anything when there's been a few dates. I'm like, absolutely, I want to start splitting things and I want to like contribute because I don't want to make you destitute. Like, I don't want you to spend all your money on me. No, thank you. Right. But unless you can, in which case, like, okay. But but for a first date, I prefer to be treated. I want to feel a little bit like a lady.
Wait, so how many dates like will transpire before you're like, okay, let's start splitting?
Probably around date 2 or 3. Date 3, I'm gonna be like,
really?
Do you want me to get this one or do you want to split it? It kind of depends on what the date is.
But then you sort of like go, I feel like after like you split or you pay for it, then like you go back to square one where it's like, then he pays for like 2 or 3, you know?
Yeah, it does kind of become that. And to be honest, Jeffrey's very sweet and Jeffrey pays for a lot. Like I'll pay for some things, but he likes to pay for things.
That's very
cute. It's very nice.
No, I think it is nice because there's nothing. Literally, me and my friends have been having this convo where it's like there's nothing cringier about like you want to offer because I think that's like the right thing to do. But then when he like, or he'll be like when he takes it, it's like it's like the worst feeling. It's like I wish there was like music to go along with that like 5 seconds of like waiting.
Just waiting.
He's gonna be like yeah or like no.
The Jeopardy music, just waiting.
Yeah, exactly. My friends used to practice because I would be like, because I told her like the first day I had with this guy, like he like wanted to take me dinner, and I was like, how do I say it? And I was like, what do I say? Like, do you want to split it? And she goes, no. Why do you sound too happy? She goes, you got to sound down. Like I literally feel like I was in acting class.
I've been in situations before where they're like you can Venmo me later, and I've tried, like you can Venmo me like half later. And like I've tried it once where I'm just like they've Venmo requested me and I just pretended like I didn't see it. And then they like commented on my Instagram. They didn't DM me. They commented on my Instagram like, you're seriously not going to pay me, whatever.
Oh my
Very warranted of them.
Wow. That person really came for you.
Yeah.
Put it publicly.
Yeah.
You're going to ignore my Venmo.
And then it was a date, I guess like in like January, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew it wasn't going well. And I was like, I really don't feel like paying for this. And like, if the Venmo is an easy out, I'll try to take it.
Wow.
But yeah.
I can't believe the gall of that person. Wow.
No, but
and then you paid the Venmo?
I did fulfill the transaction.
Okay.
But I went on one after that, another date where they were like, you can Venmo me half later, and then they just forgot, and so I just never paid.
Beautiful.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't know, that paying thing is just like, ugh, I don't know. It makes you feel like so cringy. Like even I have girlfriends that are like, I'm like, so what do you do when the bill comes? Like on the first few dates, she was like, I just sit there. And then I
reach for my wallet. I reach for my wallet. I'm not going very fast. I'm
You know how there used to be like, you know how there used to be like the bend and snap? It's like we need the opposite. Like the bend and slow, like
slow motion. I'm getting my purse and then I wait for the, oh, don't worry, I got it. And I'm like, oh, thank you.
I feel like they're because I've like thought about this before. Like, is there like the correct time to go to the bathroom? Like, do you go to the bathroom like right before you know that the waiter is going to come with the bill, or like right as it comes to the table?
But then it's like too obvious.
It's too obvious. But I feel like there must be like a good window, you know?
That's a good move for dads, though. I mean, like if you're with a parent for dinner, or I don't know, or scamming an older man, I guess.
Sure.
I think that bathroom move is really good.
Yeah, I think the bathroom move is good for like a first date because you can get away with it, you know, and it gives the guy a chance to like be like, oh, okay, I could do it. But then the second date is when you have to sit in the creepy mud and be like, so do you want to split it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Tori.
Like the first date I went on with this guy, I went to the bathroom, but like honestly, I didn't go on purpose, and it kind of wasn't like I didn't think it was like the end of the date. And then he already paid for it. Yeah. And then the other time the bill came when I was there and I was like, oh, do you want to split it? And then he was like, no. I was like, oh, it's so funny. Like I know, like afterwards, I don't know where guys get this tone of like thinking that girls, or if they, I don't like, where did they get this idea that they think girls are like, no, I want to be equal? I mean, okay, maybe this is like very wrong of me, but
ultimately I do want to be equal. I do want to be equal, but also I want to be treated. I want some gifts sometimes. Yeah. I want a date to be like a treat.
Right, like I want to feel equal, but that's not the right wording. Like I also want to be.
You want equal pay, but not to equally pay.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that.
Right.
Yeah.
Put it on a tote bag.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah. I mean, there are just some things where it's like, it feels nice to, I guess it's the idea of like chivalry. I'm into chivalry. Yeah. I'm into gentlemanly behavior, which spans like a lot of different stuff too. It's also like asking for consent and also being cognizant of how the person you're on a date with is feeling and listening and like offering to make their lives a little easier, offering to do things like that's gentlemanly behavior, and I support it. I don't think it makes. Very true. I don't think it makes. I don't think that's a women's rights issue. That's just you know.
Yeah.
Although there is a TikTok, if we're talking about like TikTok spirals, of the woman who is like, all of the like men who want you to be cooking dinner and staying at home, whatever, that also comes with them like working like in the 50s, 60s. And we're still like highlighting the like, I don't know, the part of it where it's like you got to be a caretaker as a woman and a mother and stay at home and cook, but not the like, 50 style husbands had jobs that they went to. Right. They weren't freelancers, it turns out. They weren't contractors. I don't know if you've seen that one, but it's on
I haven't
the, you
seen
know,
that one.
it's the style of TikTok where it's like the harp music, and they're like, you have to stop
Oh,
doing
you have
this
to stop
thing.
believing and la la la. And
Yeah,
I know the one you're talking about.
yeah, it's a style. So Tori, did you bring a receipt? Should we get into a receipt?
Sure, yeah. So I let's see. Let's get to it. Hold on. So I guess I should preference this by saying in April I was living in New York, and then I moved to LA. And when I was in New York, I had this like dry spell, and I was like, I need to get laid, like, because in March it was like very hard to get laid. I mean, you know what I mean? I'm saying there's a lot of issues, but at the under, sometimes you just have issues that you're like, hey, there's a pandemic happening, but then your hormones are like, I don't know what's happening. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. But like, it just still wants to come out. So I get to LA in April. I'm like, I just like need to have sex with someone. Like, I don't know. Like I was like the most uncomfortable feeling. Like I had to do it. So this guy I knew went from college. We never like did anything in college, was out here. We started like hooking up for a few months. Like 2 months, I would say, but it was very like it was very like casual. Then I found out I had an STD from him. Okay, I found out I had an STD like in fucking June. I'm not scared of COVID now. I'm like, what is going on with my vagina?
Yeah, what's happening?
Right. And by the way, I feel like you are never more obsessed with cleaning your vagina than when you have an STD. Like before, you don't care. It's okay. It's a STD that's curable. It's okay. So
good.
After he gave me the STD, I ended it with him, and he like didn't understand like why I ended it. I was like, well, I can't know that you're hooking up with other people. I don't want that. Like, I don't want to talk anymore. He like, I guess I'd like never had a girl be like, let's stop talking. You know what I mean? So I get a text from him. So let me, wait, guys. Oh no, now I need to find it. Hold on. Give me a second.
You got it. You can have that second.
Okay, because I want to get the full.
And we want to hear it.
Okay.
We want to know.
So because I said, I don't want to talk to you anymore. So I guess like 3 weeks later, he goes, I know I'm supposed to mind my own business, but you popped into my brain, and I just wanted to see how you were doing. LOL, don't need to respond if you want to, but hi, period, hello, how are you doing? And he goes, was just thinking about you, worried about you. And I go, are you worried about me or my vagina?
Wait, what time was his text?
His text was at Tuesday, 9 o'clock. I texted back Wednesday at 7:30.
9 p.m. Yes?
9 p.m. Yes.
Okay. I'm just always curious. Yeah, because I feel like that's horny hours potentially.
Yeah. 9 o'clock. Yeah, he's thinking about me.
Right.
Maybe his date didn't show up. He's like, where is Tori?
Mm-hmm.
So then I go, are you worried about me or my vagina? That was at 7:36 on a Wednesday. He wrote back less than 15 minutes later. LOL, what kind of question even is that? LOL, I guess I'm not used to just stop talking to someone so suddenly, and you were in a little distress, was just thinking about you, worried about you. How are you feeling? And I go, of course I was in distress. I had an STD on my vagina. And then he's like, I mean, that seems like a little bit of an exaggeration, but I guess that's what I mean, LOL. But I was more so thinking about your brain and your anxiety than your body. And then and then he just kept texting me, and he's like, one last thing. And then I think I brought up the STD thing one more time.
You have to.
I just kept bringing it up. It was like pretty funny at this point. Like every time he texted me, I don't even know.
I think.
That was it. That was my receipt.
What this receipt proves to me, it's like, how can he not realize why you don't want to keep seeing him? Just how does that not compute?
I don't know, but I mean, it definitely felt good to it felt good to see all that white and then my little blue. Yeah. Nothing feels better than that.
That does feel pretty good sometimes.
Was he like a big texter before, or like was?
I mean, we would text like a lot.
Yeah.
Which was fine. It was like a lot of back and forth, and then so he was always a big texter. So this was like, it felt good.
Sure.
To be like,
that does.
You know,
great. I know
that feels really good.
Yeah.
You know, he had to add periods in there, and
like hi, hello, hi. Like,
finally
hi, hello. But that's how he is in person. Like he was texting like how he would talk in person. Like, hi, how you doing? Whoa, 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 you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh my
So,
goodness.
yeah.
And then, but you're recovered fully.
I am fully recovered. I feel like
Okay,
it's
good.
very me to have like the opposite problem. You know, there's a pandemic and an awful virus going around, and I happen to get something unrelated to that.
That's
Yeah.
insane. That is that. Yeah, I know, because I thought that I had mono a few months back, and and I was just like, I can't even talk to anybody about potentially having mono, because then that would like raise the question, like, oh, like you're kissing people, you know? And so it's like, I need to live with this. It was not mono.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but
okay, well, yeah, anything you have right now could, like, I was like, and then I had to go to, and I ended up being like a rash. Well, it wasn't STD rash, but I'm not going to get into detail, but I had to go to the dermatologist.
Okay.
And she was basically like, yeah, I wouldn't sleep with anyone right now. Like, it's contagious. And I was like, well, if you sleep with this person, like, and I was like, you know, and I haven't like performed live in a while. So I was like, oh, so it's like I have COVID in my vagina. And she was like, she must have like thought I was like insane, this woman. I would go there, like I had to go there like twice. And every time I would go, I would have like, I'd be like, well, let me ask you another question. She must have thought I was like insane. Like, I just was like, wait. So let me ask you a question. I was like, is this the worst you've ever seen? She's like, no. I'm like, oh, good. I'm like, but let me ask you a question. Say someone like just touches it. Because if someone like the thing is, I touch it and I don't get this thing on my finger. But if someone touches it, like she was like, she must have thought I was like a slut. She's like, who the fuck is hooking up with this many people in the middle of a pandemic? You know?
Little does she know, you're just a comic who needs to get someone to laugh. You're just
exactly.
Like, I need to test out a joke.
Exactly.
I'm dying. That's so
yeah.
silly. I do the same thing to my therapist, which I know is maybe not.
No, but when I went to the City MD with this mono scare, I remember I told like the nurse there, this like probably like 20-something-year-old nurse, like I was like, I think it's mono, like I feel like these are the symptoms, and she's like, yeah, I've had mono before, and I'm like, okay, you can hang, you know, like cool.
Oh my God.
Friends and buddies. I
like,
guess it's it's a cool thing to have mono in high school. I mean, it sucks and it ruins your life, but like you have mono, which means like
you're hooking
I don't know, you're hooking up. You're one of the cool kids.
But you can only have one.
Did.
You never did?
I never did.
Do you plan to?
I never did.
I'd love to have mono someday.
It's awful. It is
I'm
awful.
too old. I think I've aged out of mono.
Is that true?
No, I think I still could physically get it, but I just would be embarrassed to be like, I'm basically 30 and I have mono.
Yeah. Right.
People would be like, we're worried about you.
Right.
Like you need to be checked out, not just for the mono. Like we need to.
Right.
It would not be the best. So that's wild. So that was happening truly right before you got on Bumble and met your new guy?
My new guy, yes.
Okay. And would you say that the pandemic has led you to be more serious faster, or has it affected your relationship in any way that's interesting or surprising?
I feel like, well, it's mostly I feel like I'm like less busy. Like I feel like usually I'm like running around at night, and it's like, so I have like more time to hang out, and like I can work from home. So it's like I can work at his place. So it's like maybe you could like speed things up. But I also don't necessarily think so, because I think when you like someone, it's hard like not to want to see them like multiple times a week.
Yeah.
You know, like I think that's the thing I noticed, like when we started hanging out, like maybe in the beginning or like the first like 3 or 4 weeks, I was like, oh, I think this is going to be something serious, even if it's not like a year or whatever, because the only other times I've ever hung out like in this type of format where it's like you hang out a few days and then like in that week you see each other, it always led to like a long relationship, or it led to like an actual relationship. I've never like had something where I would like hang out with a guy for like 3 or 4 weeks, like multiple times a week, and then that was it.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? It was usually like once a week thing. And like maybe we would text a lot, but it would like be clear that like something else was going on like either end. So I don't know, I guess it's also hard because it's like, I don't know how he acts. Like, well, I met his friend, so it's not like that. I don't know. There's nothing that with this person I'm with that I could be like, oh, I wonder how he would act if this came about, not during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And he's very, and also like I feel like we're very equal in like how we see COVID. So that's very nice.
Yeah,
like
that's
he
good.
takes it seriously. Like he's not like, oh, this mask is stupid. Like, you know, when we go out, he's like, oh no, put in your mask, like, don't touch that. But he's not like overly cautious, not like, you know. So it's like the perfect amount. I think that's like hot.
That is
There
hot.
needs to be like a list.
You have to
like,
agree though. You have to agree about like, because I'm kind of the more cautious person. Like my household's a little more cautious than Jeffrey, my boyfriend's household. So like, that's been a cause of strife sometimes. Like, because I'm like, we're not okay with that. Like me and my sister, my pod, but like they want to like, but that's what you guys are doing. And I'm like, we have to compromise on this because like, turns out there are rules that are outside of us about how we have to live our lives now. So it's good. I mean, it's really good that you guys are compatible about
COVID.
About COVID. You have to be
who knew? Like, did I ever, you know, when people are like, make a list of the things you want in a guy or like want in a partner, I'm like, did I ever think I would have to write down being like, we're equal and that we both think we should wear masks, even if we're outdoor restaurant. You know what I mean? Like, who, by the way, we need to talk about these like list things like pre-pandemic, or I just think like I've made lists of like things I want in a partner and like, or don't want. Okay. Right. Things you want and don't want. But the problem is like, sometimes it will be such specific things that I'm like, well, I didn't know I didn't want that. You know, like some of these lists that people tell you to make are like a little crazy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, have you guys ever made one?
I feel like a Hinge is actually like a pretty good, like it makes the list almost for you, with like the specifications that they offer. The height one, major.
Yeah.
Like what your political party is, all these different things. Like, I mean, like want kids, that really doesn't, because no gays in my, you know, experience have like been really kid crazy. But yeah, I feel like they have like a bunch of questions that are like, they give the list already packaged to you. So
totally. I think I've written on a piece of paper though, like lined paper.
Yeah, no, that's what I meant.
Like
those things
I've done
like you manifest and you're supposed to write on a paper and like hold it with you and like think about it when you like, have you ever made one of those lists?
I have done that. I've done that though, like in middle school, I started doing that. Like, I want a boyfriend who does this. Like, not even without like sans the like self-help, like adulthood version of this. Like, I've done the like, I want my boyfriend to be like this someday.
Okay. So not the adult version.
Yeah.
Not the adult version. No. Okay. But I definitely know what you're talking about because those are like, you have to be willing to change your mind about some things on your list. Like some things are like, they're like politics. I think that's like, if you don't agree on politics, mostly, it's not going to work. That's going to be a problem. Like, I think that's be all end all. Like, if we don't agree about this, it's not going to work out. But like height is something that you could, you know, potentially compromise on. Right. Unless you're like 6'2" or bust, babe, I'm dating a basketball player. Right. What did your list used to say, Tori?
My list was like, I'm trying to think. I think it was just like sweet, kind, like helps me with all like my creative endeavors, like supports me. I think I was like, would be nice if he looked like Brian Greenberg.
You did it. You found him.
I know. Well, the crazy thing is that I one time I made a list. Like I've made like 2 of my lists, but one time I made a list last May when I was actually in LA for a month. And I wrote this list, and it was like pretty similar to the one I have now, I guess. But I was like, oh, would be nice like if he worked in entertainment or like a writer producer or something, and like look like Brian Greenberg. Okay. This is crazy. Then like an hour later, I go to this, it was like a show party. It was like a backyard show. I see this guy. I was like, oh my God, that guy is so cute. Like had like the same type of like red type of scruff as like Brian Greenberg. I guess that's like my thing. Like, you know how some guys are like, I just love big tits. Like I love a guy with like an auburn scruff. Like that is my, then I find out this guy.
Yeah.
Exactly. Then the guy I see like red scruff, and then I find out he was like a producer for ESPN, and that was like, and had a lot of the qualities on there. I mean, it didn't go anywhere, but I was like, whoa, like that's crazy. I was like, that's crazy.
I feel like that's a good sign to you that your list could guide you in the wrong direction, though, and it probably will.
So maybe I should change the list.
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know, the list seems crazy to me, though. Like that.
I think it's more of like a manifestation thing. But here's the thing, like I didn't know. But here's the thing on the list, like I didn't know I should put on the list. Like, also, can he be a good texter and not text me like every 4 days? Like, these are things I don't know. I have to gather with all the bad deeds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really important.
I feel like that it's like the list is almost like, it's like setting you up to be disappointed, though, in a lot of regards. If you're like, because it's like a bad texter, if like he's filling all these other qualities, if he's a bad texter, is that be all end all for you? You know?
No, I think there was something else. Like, well, it didn't really go anywhere because he didn't really make it anywhere. And also I was like, that was like the one thing that was like apparent. We only went on like 3 days. We didn't even like have sex.
But
we didn't even have sex. That was like great. Whoa, like how did I wait that long? How did I wait long to even do it? We never even did it.
And he had an auburn scruff, Tori. Wow. That's very wow. That's
I really related with that one.
Courageous.
Yeah.
Really? I'm just thinking about, it's like you have the secret where you have to like say to the universe the things that you want.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, you just say it out loud and then hopefully it'll happen.
Wait, I'm not familiar with this practice. You're just saying what you want to the universe and that's it?
Yeah, you say what you want to the universe. Vision board.
The vision board never worked for me. Okay, have you ever like talked about, like thought about someone and then like a week, like 2 days later, you're like, oh my, that's crazy, I was just thinking about you.
Yes.
Or like,
that happened seconds of. It can happen in the same few minutes for me.
Yeah.
Thinking about someone and they text me. The secret.
Yeah, I don't read the practice secret, but I've experienced situations where like, but before night, I'll be like, oh, I want like this to happen. And I'll like really think about it. And then maybe it doesn't happen to like the extent I wanted, but it like happens eventually. Or I'll be like, I want this person to text me. And it's like an Amazon, not an Amazon. I feel like it's more like the post office. Like manifestations are like a post office. Like sometimes it takes like a week to happen, but I'll notice it. It's really weird.
And it's happening.
Guys, I am telling you, it's like weird. Now, maybe the other thing, like, oh, I just thought about this person. That's like, I don't know what that is, but I don't know. Like, this is like, I'm telling you, I'm not even a spiritual person. Like, I don't even know how I like know all this.
I definitely have that though. And sometimes you're like, it can't be coincidence.
Yeah. Andrew, you have to do this tonight. Like, think about something, but like, I don't know. It's also like a weird thought you have to have. It's not like, oh, like I think you have to
visualize it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a little bit of like visualizing.
Okay. If a random thought comes in, I can't even tell it. But I can't even tell you about it though. I can't tell either of you that I had it.
Tell us after. Like here's a perfect example. Okay. Like in New York, I like went on a few dates with this guy pre-pandemic. And then like I kept trying to get him to see me like before March and he wouldn't, even though we were like really close to each other living wise. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, but he's like cautious about the pandemic, blah, blah, blah. And we kind of communicated like when I moved to LA, but I hadn't heard from him like in a month. And I was like, I'm not going to reach out. And then like, I wasn't like obsessing, but like maybe like one night I was like, oh, it's so weird I haven't heard from him. Like I want to hear from him. I think I'm going to hear from him. 2 weeks later, I got a FaceTime from him. And like there was no communication prior to that. Like,
oh my gosh.
I've had that work where I'll be like, oh, I want this person to like reach out to me. And then they do. Yeah. Okay, I know this sounds crazy.
No, but Tori, I do that too. Yes.
You do? Okay, and it's worked.
And it's worked. Sometimes you just like really think hard about something that you are hopeful will happen, and then it happens.
Sometimes it takes a while. Like it won't sometimes happen like the next day.
Okay.
And I think you're like blowing Andrew's mind.
You're witches.
No, you're not blowing my mind by any means. I'm so sorry. I feel like the exact opposite is what's happening here.
You just don't trust. You don't believe in it, and that's why you're not getting the text that you're just dreaming of.
I'm not dreaming of a text. Is the thing.
That's why you have to start dreaming of a text, listeners. I'm telling you, do this. It has to be like. It's not like, and it can't be like, oh, this is stupid. Like you can't go into it and you can't be like, you have to be like, oh, this person is going to reach out. Like, you know, when you're like, when like the thought you have where you're like, oh, I know my mom is probably going to call me tomorrow morning. And you like really believe it because you know she's going to call you tomorrow morning. It's like, you have to think of it like that. It's like, oh, I know, like, I'm going to hear from this person in 2 weeks. And I swear to God, it happens.
But I try to do it for like good news. Like I do it for like, I hope I get this thing. Or,
No, because then when you don't get the good news, then it's like, what was that for? What was that for?
Okay, like, haven't you ever had a good thing about like an audition? Like, yes. I've always like, it, like, I told myself like I've gotten something when I didn't, and I knew I didn't, but I just like said it. But then there's other times when I actually get it, and I like knew deep down I was going to. It's like a different layer that you're connecting.
You feel it. You know when you're feeling it.
I feel like we're like, Andrew's like, I'm done. And the listeners are going to be like, yes. Please let us know if you guys have done this, but give it like 2 weeks for the manifestation to work. Yes. God, am I a comic or like a workshop crystal person? Like, who am I?
You're about to become a psychic, Tori. But that's honestly better for the digital age.
Right.
You could, internet mediums have been existing since, I don't know, the 80s.
Right.
Which at this point is many years. So
right.
Yeah. I feel like I knew that this episode was going to be an incredible episode, and I manifested it, and it is.
Wow.
We did it. We really did. So Tori, everyone should follow you. Everyone who's listening. How do they do it? Where do they find you?
Okay, well, besides like hoping I'm going to DM you from the manifestation, you guys can follow me on my personal Instagram, which is Tori, Tori Piskin. And like I said, I have a podcast. Jenny said I have a podcast with my mom called Got It From My Mama. It's on all iTunes and YouTube. And this has been a great, I don't even know. I feel like, can we like just set something saying that all three of us tonight are going to set like something? Andrew, you have to do this.
Okay.
You have to. And I'm gonna DM you or text you or whatever, how you want. I'm going to do in 2 weeks. And I'm going to say, has it happened? And now you can't go in being like, this is doing this. You have to be like the thought of like, you know, like you're going to get a work email. Okay, I'm excited. I want everyone to do this and be like, oh, and like blah, blah, blah. Don't give it a time frame, but like, this is going to happen. And the thought of like, you know, it will, because it's like, so I want everyone to do that. That's my, I don't know.
Wait, it can't be something that you know will happen. It needs to be something that like you want.
You're manifesting.
The feeling you go in. Okay, so like say you get like a text from like your mom or your boss. You're like, oh, like tomorrow I know I'm going to get this like email from my boss saying I didn't do something right. You know what I mean? Like you don't know if you're going to get it, but like deep down you know because of, so it's like that feeling, but about something that you want to happen.
Okay.
Something positive, something that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Cool,
wow.
I'm so excited. This has been so much fun. Thank you to everyone for listening. And if you've been loving the podcast, please review us on iTunes. I know you guys are out there. So where are those reviews at? That's been a thing that I'm going to manifest that actually, not to ruin it.
You ruined it.
Yes. You can tell us the manifestation. It's fine.
Okay. I'm going to manifest some very positive reviews. Okay. But
okay, great.
We love you guys. Have a great night. Thank you so much for listening. This was Receipts.